It's the first FanMail Friday of 2026, and Locked On Yankees is ready to answer your burning questions next.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network in the country. I'm Stacey Gotsulias. He's Brian McKeon. We'd like to thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Before tip-off, check the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Brian, how are you doing? First Friday of the new year.
I'm doing well. It doesn't feel like a Friday at all. It feels like a Monday. But
I was so confused. I didn't know what was going on this week. This whole week was confusing when it came to what day it was, honestly, right? Like Monday felt like a Monday.
You know what, though? I'm glad. Let's get to the weekend.
Tuesday felt like a Thursday. Wednesday felt like a Friday. It was just like, what is going on here?
Friday felt like a Monday, and I needed the weekend anyway, so yeah. I'm happy with it.
Yeah. All right, well, coming up on today's show, it's FanMail Friday. We'll be answering all of your questions if you submitted some. And if you're new to the show, we do this every Friday. We get questions from our Locked On Yankees insiders. There's a special insiders club. You can find the link in the description of the show to join the Insiders Club. And we also answer questions from our YouTube viewers. But we start with the insiders, and we always start with Betty. So our first FanMail Friday question of 2026, and here we go. My New Year's rant. I know you both keep saying we can get good players before the trade deadline, but I feel like we're sitting on our thumbs while everyone else is picking up valuable talent. Imai went cheap, our Steinbrenner and Cashman banking on Judge and Cole being eternally young and no one getting injured. What are they smoking? By the trade deadline, we'll be firmly in our summer swoon. Yeah, the Boone swoon. And I'd sure hate to be in a hole too big to climb out of. Amen. Oh, and go Yankees.
Yeah, I think, but Betty, I'll say this to your point. No one else has been the aggressor so far. It's not like the Dodgers are going out there and signing everybody anyway. Like, Imai did go to that contract, but to the point, man, on yesterday's episode, I don't think they were signing Imai to that kind of deal, Yankees. They when you have depth at pitching. And to say, are they banking on Judge and Cole to be young? They still are in their primes. So you do have to bank on them perform. Like, the Yankees are not winning a World Series in any season without Cole and Judge performing at all-star caliber levels. So, like, and you know what? Your top-paid players have to perform like your top-paid players in those moments. So they do have to count on those guys to play well. Just like they have to count on Stanton to play well, and Rodon and Fried. Like, that's why you pay those guys those salaries. So I don't think it's unhealthy to bank on those guys to have great years. They're paid what they're paid for a reason. I'm not getting it sounds like you're getting a little nervous, Betty, and you're not alone in Yankee Nation feeling that way. I just want to allow everyone to kind of take a breath because it's not like everybody else is making these crazy, grandiose moves that are taking the baseball world by storm. No one's doing it yet.
Right. I would agree with that.
Let's go to David F., who says, the 2026 season feels like it has the highest sense of urgency since 2009. In that year, the front office was terrified of another year without a ring and made massive, irresponsible splashes to get over the hump. Do you think Brian Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner still have that fear of failure in them, or has the urgency changed for them when it all costs to just get to the dance and hope for the best?
I don't think it was a sense of urgency because they were terrified of another year without a ring. It was because George was getting old and they wanted him to have one last championship, and they decided to go out and do what they did. Yeah. I also don't think it was irresponsible. It was the Yankees being what the Yankees should be. I mean, most of those signings and trades and whatever else they did in the 08-09 offseason worked out really well for that season and beyond.
I'm going to agree with you wholeheartedly there. I think those moves were made for double factor. A, you were moving into a new stadium, and they didn't want to be bad in the new stadium. And B, they wanted to get one more for George. Yeah. Both of those things true. But I agree with you wholeheartedly on the second point, way more. How were they irresponsible? Those moves worked. They won a World Series. That's why you make moves to win a World Series. Like, what signing that they made in that offseason went bad? I mean, later on, I guess you can call it that, but they want Chisholm. huge contributor to that World
Yeah,
Series.
like the only one out of that group was AJ Burnett, and he was gone by 2012.
But he was starting in huge games for them in the postseason.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't think that was an irresponsible offseason at all. I think the Yankees would do that
loved
all
that
over again.
offseason.
And they would do it all over again to get those titles to play.
Yeah, definitely. All right, our next question is from Evan. Your classically trained aside got me thinking, which position, not necessarily player, plays which instrument in your rock band? Left field is obviously cowbell.
Wow. I guess that's the irrelevant position.
In case you don't know, on a show earlier in the week or last week, whenever it was, Brian was talking about players being classically trained, and I thought it was funny just because I was thinking about musicians being classically
It was, and I think
trained.
everyone gets where I'm going.
Yeah,
I'd call the catcher the drummer. I would call the pitcher the singer. I'd probably call the shortstop the lead guitarist, because that's always the flashy position,
right?
Generally,
yeah.
I'd call the first baseman the bass player, because you need stability there to have a good band, and you need stability at first base to be a good team.
Keyboardist.
I don't know anything. Keyboardist, yeah, they're going in right field probably, right? It depends on the band,
right?
Like the keyboardist in Bon Jovi is like the third baseman, because that's an important. The
keyboardist
right?
in Duran Duran, same thing.
Yeah, but like the keyboardist in, I don't know, Poison, if they have any keyboardists, like that's not an important position for them. So
I don't know if they had any keyboardists, and I'm not sure if they played, if any songs had keytar in it.
I'll say Def Leppard, because Def Leppard's definitely got some keys in their music. So, but not as important because they're guitar centric. I can go on and on for this stuff for days, but I don't want to bore everyone.
But it is an interesting question, right? Did you play an instrument? I can't remember.
Oh, I played tons. I played trumpet as a child. I quit that after high school. It just kind of like stopped playing, but I played guitar my whole life.
Nice.
I love it. That's why I wear this every single day. So yeah, I have a guitar sitting in my living room every day, and whenever I watch sports, I kind of play guitar while watching sports. So yeah, I love the fact that I play musical instruments. What about you?
Piano, drums, and I did the glockenspiel, which is the bells, because
it resembles your last name.
When we were in fourth grade, we weren't allowed to play drums. It was only fifth and sixth graders. But because I was a bit of a musical genius when I was a child, playing by ear by the time I was 2, and had perfect pitch and knew how to play drums from drumming on pillows with chopsticks from the time I was like 3 or 4, the music teacher made an exception for me. And I was the only fourth grader elevated to be able to play drums with the fifth and sixth graders in the spring concert. So I was able to play drums ahead of everyone else, including...
That's impressive.
I was the only girl too, so that annoyed the boys like you would not believe, because, it was 1984. So they were little...
And girls can't play drums?
Girls can't play drums. Like, what are you
I was
about?
told that I wasn't allowed to play trombone because my arms were too short.
My brother played trombone, and he woke me up by blowing it into my ear one Saturday morning.
Nice.
That
still probably had you angry.
Yes, I'm still mad. It's like nearly 40 years later, and I'm still angry that he did. I thought I was going to die, because I thought I was going to have a heart attack, because imagine having a trombone blown into your... It's not pleasant.
No, I don't want to imagine that. Let's finish it up with Alex Z, who says, FanMail Friday, questions or comments. Happy New Year, and want to be positive with the new year. What if the Yankees don't do anything this offseason, but let's say McMahon has shortened his swing and hits for a higher average? Jason Dominguez makes some big improvements from his time in the DL, where he is only swinging right-handed, and his defense improves. What if Ben Rice takes the next step and hits close to 40 homers? What if Trent Grisham goes back to being a fourth outfielder and is put there by Spencer Jones in May? What if Garrett Cole comes back and is great? Rodon comes back and is great, and Eddie Volpe takes that next step and improves? Okay, let's go.
Okay, Alex.
Love your optimism.
I love it too, but if that happens, if all of this happens, or even like 75% of that happens, this is what I'll do to my hair. I will be Susan Powder, Stop the Insanity, platinum blonde buzz cut, if the majority of what you just said happens.
Let's not root for that. Yeah, like I want the Yankees to, like, I don't know, like I keep hearing people say that maybe McMahon will improve. Like McMahon is what he is at this point. He's not he's not going to become a 300
He's defense
hitter
only. That's why the Yankees got him. They knew that getting
He'll
him.
give you a little bit of pop. He'll probably hit like 15 to 18 homers next year because of the short porch.
Right.
You'll get that little plus side out of him. But Dominguez, they want. I don't like saying Dominguez makes big improvements because was he that bad last year?
Right.
He needs to make massive improvements. Exactly. Yeah. So I don't think big improvements is the right way to phrase it. I don't know. Ben Rice hit pretty. Like if Ben Rice gives them the 30 that he gave him last year, I think you take that. Like that's awesome out of your starting first baseman. So I don't know. I love the optimism.
I do too. I really don't see Spencer Jones making it up by May. You might see him at some point.
Starting center fielder.
Like, you might see him at some point. You know, maybe when they need to bring people up towards the end of the season and give other guys a spell.
You have to see him at some point, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. How long?
But I don't think that would be the reason.
How long are we going to keep this top prospect sitting in the minor leagues?
Right.
Like you can't keep doing that. At some point, he has to play in the majors.
Yeah.
But again, like we always say though, Stacey, that strikeout percentage, like if he's going to strike out 30% of the time in the minor leagues, what do you think he's going to do in the majors?
Right.
They're worried about that clearly.
Yeah. Again, I want to watch him more because I've only seen limited at bats, and I want to see how many of these strikeouts are actually swinging. I want to see if any of these strikeouts are affected by his size, like Judge's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just want to see how things are. And it's not necessarily where the strikeout ends on swinging. It's like if there's a call in the early part of the count that turns it around and makes it like 1-2 instead of 2-1 and how that affects the at bat. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's going up there and striking out on 3 pitches that much of a percentage of the time. You know, I kind of want to watch him a little more.
It's hard with being a minor leaguer, but you know, sometimes with these minor leaguers, the only thing we have to go off of are the stats.
Right.
And the numbers and stuff. So it is tough to kind of tell when you're out seeing his daily at-bats, but I think they go by that too a lot of the time too. And you can't just call a player up who's going to strike. If he strikes out at a 30% clip in the minors, what's he doing in the majors?
Yeah.
It's at least 45% of the time, right? And then is his bat that worth it?
Right. Although it would be unbelievable to see him and Judge next to each other in the outfield.
And Stanton.
Yeah.
Well, not in the outfield,
throw Stanton out in left field and have all 3 of them out there, and it'd be like
towers.
Yeah. Yep. All right, coming up next, we're going to be answering more of your Fan Mail Friday questions, more from the insiders, and one from YouTube.
You guys know that Fridays already feel different during basketball season, and FanDuel is making them even better. Now, every Friday night before the games tip off, FanDuel gives fans a new way to kick off the weekend with NBA Happy Hour. NBA Happy Hour is your official pregame, a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before all the action starts. And Fridays from 6 to 7:30 Eastern have now become appointment viewing time with NBA Happy Hour. Opening the FanDuel app during Happy Hour always brings you something new. There's boost bonuses and surprises. It's also easy to check the weekly special before tip-off and make a move before the window closes. The timing is perfect. It's right before the games and right before your weekend starts. It adds extra energy to Friday night basketball without having to overthink it. So before tip-off, check out the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour. Every Friday from 6 to 7:30 Eastern, a little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour only on FanDuel. It's the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. We want to thank all of you guys for making Locked On Yankees your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. Now, if you haven't already done it, go check out the new Everydayer Club, where you get access to an ad-free audio feed of Locked On Yankees, compatible with Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and every other major podcast app where you can find us. And you also get an invite to the members-only Locked On Everydayer Club Discord server, which includes a group chat for listeners of the show. You can go to lockedonyankees.supercast.com if you're watching us on YouTube, or click that QR code in the top right corner of your screen. You tap the link and the show notes to learn more. There's a link in the show notes as well where you guys can find more about the Everydayer Club. It is well worth it, an adventure for us that we are very excited about. Let's go back to Fan Mail Friday. We are still on our insider questions, and let's go with Chris F. He says, Happy New Year, Stacey and Brian. Congratulations on a successful 2025, and here's to an even better 2026. One of my favorite podcasts. Thank you, guys. You guys are amazing. I agree with that. Question: what did you do to the ring in the new year to welcome to what? And what are your goals for the new year? Let's go Yankees and love the pod.
What did I do? Oh,
I feel like your answer is. This is not meant as an insult. I feel like this is more of an age gap observation. I feel like your answer is going to be less entertaining than mine.
Yeah, I didn't do anything. I was on my couch. I was watching Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen get drunk. I was annoyed that I didn't know Rick Springfield was going to be on Rockin' Eve, so I missed his performance that night, but I watched it yesterday on YouTube. Rick Springfield's 76 years old, and he still sounds amazing live. Like, it's unbelievable. I saw him perform when he was 50, and he was amazing, so it's just really funny. But yeah, no, I watched CNN, and it's so funny. I don't know if people realize this, but they're like a full minute behind on all the broadcasts when they're counting down. And it's basically because in case something happens in Times Square, it's a minute behind in case something happens when the ball drops. This has been in place for a while now. You get what I'm saying? So at first it wasn't clicking in my brain. I'm like, why are they so far behind? I'm like, oh, right. Yeah. Times Square was a little bit of a target there.
I was in Belmar, New Jersey. In a bar that had an occupancy of about 200 people, where there were about 1,200 people. So it wasn't a fire hazard at all.
Yeah, after what happened in Switzerland, like, you know, you got to be careful with that stuff. Like, seriously.
You do realize that, yeah, like, people are screaming Happy New Year, and the TV that's on the loudspeaker is clearly a minute late. And that's where I finally realized, like, wow, this feels strange. We're counting it down after it already happened.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable. Like, I'm not the party type, but like the friends that I do have do like doing that stuff. So I went and enjoyed myself.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good on the future. Like, I'm good. I do want to say, though, to what Chris was saying, congrats on the successful 2025. Thank you, because we don't often do this or brag or like tap ourselves on the backs, but like we kind of do deserve our flowers sometimes, Stacey. Like, go on, like, look at our stats, right? Our downloads, incredible last year. Over 2.5 million views on YouTube was unbelievable. We're approaching 11,000 subscribers on YouTube. The podcast download numbers are great. It's all thanks to you guys that listen and watch and participate in days like FanMail Friday. But we have a very, very loyal fan base, and we're very, very proud to call you guys the fans of the show. So thank you so much. It makes us feel a little accomplished that the hard work that we do put in actually does go towards something. So thank you guys very much.
Any goals for 2026?
Yeah, let's get to 5 million YouTube views total. Let's get to, is 20,000 just like reachable? No, you don't think so?
No.
All right.
Something really crazy would probably have to happen. And this is not like, you know, I'm not saying, look, all right, I don't want to come out and say, no, we can't make it to 20,000. It's just, it's not as easy to gain subscribers as you think it is. Like, it's a long process to get from 1,000 to 10,000, 10,000 to 20,000. You know, even
right, so
I'm aiming
20. I'm aiming 22,000. I'm gonna go over the number that I just gave you because I'm shooting for the stars this year.
Wow. All right, my goal is 15,000 by the end of the
season.
We're
gonna have a big year. We're gonna have a big year. I'm feeling it. We're gonna have a big year as a show. And audio numbers are also terrific out there. So we appreciate that. And I want to develop some contacts at the baseball writers dinner that I'm going to at the end of the month. I think that'll get our views up too.
Yeah, that would be good. All right, our next question is from Sean from Toronto. Happy New Year. We're planning an overnight trip to see the Yanks in May. Was wondering a good place to stay outside the city and best transit option opposed to driving into the Bronx. Thanks, Sean from TO or from the 6, from the GTA.
I'd say if you're not if you're not like a New Yorker or you haven't been to New York a lot, like, you probably should shell out and stay in the city.
Yeah.
If it's for mass transit reasons,
you got to
definitely stay in Manhattan.
Yeah, you have to be in Manhattan.
The 4 train kind of is an experience. Taking that to Yankee Stadium, that is part of the Yankee experience, especially if you're avoiding parking.
And you'll find people in Yankee jerseys and shirts, and they will direct you where to go. You just follow them.
So I'd say that, and plus, like, staying in the city, like, is a really cool thing. Like, try and shell out for that at that point.
Because it's not easy to stay outside of the city and take transit if you're not from here.
Agreed completely. The only other option if you're willing to drive and pay for the parking, which I don't suggest, but if you're going to do that, Northern Jersey. That's your best bet. You'll find cheaper hotels in Northern Jersey than you will in Manhattan.
Right. But Manhattan's not that bad because there are so many hotels. It just depends on where you want to stay.
Yeah, and what your budget is. Because, you could obviously spend a fortune in Manhattan, but you could also find, I don't know, is he going to, are the prices that Will find reasonable for Manhattan what he's going to find reasonable?
I would think so, because if he's from Toronto, he knows how expensive hotels can be.
Yeah, there are expensive hotels in Toronto, so that's what
New York has more options than other cities. That's why if you're booking at another city and you're like, God, why is it like $400 a night here when it's only this here? It's because there aren't as many options in the cities as there are in New York, because New York is the best. So
there you go. Bold take. Is this you or me? Am I forgetting?
It's you.
Oh, okay. Gary says, as the offseason goes on, I'm starting to think, as Judge says, they wanted to run it back with most of the same team and the returning injured guys and do it right this time. With that said, what are the chances they brought Grisham back with that in mind and paid him so well with the qualifying offer, hoping he crushes it in the first half of the season and will make a better trade piece than he would have this offseason?
I would just like to note, Gary asked this question last week, but it was a little too late for last week's Fan Mail Friday, which is why we're answering it now. So here we are.
Don't you think Grisham becomes a worse trade piece, though, under this salary structure?
Yes.
Right? It makes it less... even if people will want him, say Grisham has an insane first half of the year and people are desperate to get Trent Grisham on their team.
Yeah.
The problem that you're facing here is with the AAV attached to him, teams aren't going to sign up for Grisham for a good price. They're going to want to pay less because of the money they're taking on. So no, I don't think that was the intention. I honestly wholeheartedly believe this, and you're never going to find out the truth. I think they were getting greedy trying to get a draft pick. and they thought there's no chance Grisham signs this. That's what I think happened.
And then surprise.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Our last question of segment 2. I had to push one of the YouTube questions back to segment 3. So segment 3 will be YouTube only. So this is our last insider question. It's from Eric S. And he says, if the Yankees crash and burn this year because Brian Cashman does nothing, will Hal finally dismiss him and Boone? Of course, I'm hoping against hope they do something and win number 28. Happy New Year and love the podcast.
Short answer, no.
Brian Cashman.
And you know what? Here's the thing. We can be hopeful. We have absolutely zero evidence to suggest they're gonna do that.
Right.
So no, I don't think there's a chance that happens.
Yeah,
they'd have to have an abysmal season for Cashman to lose his job. And Stacey, they're too talented to have a season like that. They're not going to have a 60-win season.
They'll have a bad season for the Yankees, like 2023 was, the 82 and 80. But this team has not been under 500 since I was in high school. I'm going to be 52 this year. That's a long time for a team to not be under 500. Okay,
they're too talented. And if they somehow have a 65-win season, it's because Judge and Cole get hurt, and if that happens, they'll just sit behind. Oh well, we had injuries.
Right.
So,
I can't compare it to anything. I've never seen job security like Brian Cashman has. Right?
Supreme Court justices.
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah, that's basically
you literally have it for life.
Yeah. He's going to be GM for life, for the number and life with a Y.
Good for him.
Kidding. All right, coming up next, our YouTube questions for Fan Mail Friday.
All right, guys, the last segment of the week so that we can relax. And if you're watching us live, get ready to watch the Rangers play an outdoor game in Miami in the Marlins Stadium. There's a little baseball tie. I think that's pretty cool. No?
Yeah.
Yeah, Winter Classic in Miami is a little strange, but we'll see how it goes. I'm excited for it. Mr. Darwin says, which is the saddest baseball franchise? Not the worst team, not the team that is in rebuilding, nor the team that isn't trying and just pocketing the money. I mean, which franchise is the one where the owner and management really are trying to be successful, but are just too incompetent to make it happen? That's a very good question. Oh, I have to think about that.
Right.
Because, I would have said Pittsburgh.
Right.
because they just don't have a prayer every year. But like, to his point, like they don't really try. This year they've actually spent pretty much, but
Right.
overall they don't really try. For a while it was Atlanta. Atlanta does try, but they won a World Series, so you got to count them out. For a while, I think another good contender was Texas. Texas always spends and is always competitive, but couldn't ever win. But they won.
And then they won. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Like who is the team that spends and attempts to, but it just never? Maybe Anaheim.
Oh yeah. Well,
They do spend,
but they half-ass it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but
like they'll go out and pay for like a big pitcher, and then they don't do anything
they won't
with
do that. Not that. They'll pay for a big hitter, not a big pitcher.
They'll pay for a big hitter and then don't upgrade the pitching rotation. It's like, well, do you think you're going to hit your way into the playoffs? Because that's not happening. They didn't even do that with Ohtani and Trout in the lineup.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Maybe what's a good contender? Colorado. Like
I was thinking Colorado.
They paid Arenado. They had Arenado, Blackman,
Chris
and
Bryant.
And Tulowitzki on that team, and never
the Chris
LeMahieu,
Bryant contract.
I mean that contract's atrocious.
Oof.
There's a couple of teams, but a lot of these teams that do spend like usually do have competitive years.
Yeah, I would say. I was thinking the Rockies actually. Yeah, I would say the Rockies because most of the other teams fall under some of those categories that he mentioned. So
even those Rockies teams that did spend the money and had good records, they were ousted in the first round like every year.
Yeah.
So like that, there is that too. But those were good. Like Tulowitzki and LeMahieu and Charlie Blackman and Arenado. I mean, you had some real players on those teams and just never won.
Yeah.
Crazy.
All right, our next question is from Casey Cotreau 7050. Do you see Cam Schlittler having as good a 2026 as he did in 2025?
Hard to tell because we only got half of him in 2025. Like he only got half the season. So I don't know if you can really like what is the judgment of him having as good of a year next year? He's not going to be as good as he was throughout the entire year. He'd win the Cy Young if that's the case. So like I don't know.
I mean, that'd be great.
I don't know if you can judge him on that barometer.
Yeah.
But I think he'll be good. I mean, where is there evidence that he won't be? So I'd say he'll be good, but I'd say if you're expecting what he did the last half of the year, expect a regression. And don't be upset at that. That's kind of natural.
Right.
Let's go to the King Henry, who says, could Scott Boras be delaying free agency? He often uses the tactic of holding out his free agents longer to secure the best deals. Currently, Boras represents free agents like Bregman, Suarez, Bellinger, Amai, and Okamoto. Okatomoto.
Okatomoto.
I don't think so. I think he just has no problem waiting out the market.
Yeah.
Right? Like he just has no problem. And you know what? To his credit, it's worked for him in the past, Stacey.
Right.
Like whenever he waits the market out, these guys do eventually more often than not get the money they wanted. So why is he going to hesitate?
Right. Next up, Eddie, I'm calling you Eddie C because your last name scares me. It looks like Krzyzewski with a C, but I don't want to assume that that's what your last name is. I truly believe that Bo Bichette would be a viable shortstop solution until Volpe gets back. Then next year you can move him to second. What are your thoughts? And Happy New Year to my two favorite Yankee podcasters. Go Yankees. Well, thank you for that. We appreciate that.
We're my two favorite Yankee podcasters too.
Mine too. Yeah.
I think he's a viable shortstop for more than just until Volpe gets back. Like I think it's a good move because it makes Volpe prove himself. It kind of puts a fire under Volpe a little bit. Remember too last year, Stacey, when the period of time where Volpe was benched for those 3 or 4 games, and then came back. He played a lot better when he came back.
Yeah,
it was like a 2-week stretch of him playing well. But I think the fire being lit under him kind of did help, and it gave him some emergency. If they give Bo Bichette like $160 million, that's some real urgency because he's there for the long haul. So I don't think it's a terrible move, and I don't think he's a stopgap for Volpe. I think he could be a full-time option, honestly.
I don't know. I really wish that, the fire would be lit under Volpe, all the time. Like you're the starting shortstop for the New York Yankees. Like you should have a fire under your feet all the time.
Agreed. But some guys need the extra motivation. I don't know why, but it is the case. Let's close it out for the week with Kevin Sweeney, who says, "Hi, do you think the Yankees inaction is part of some grand plan? By the way, they are doing pretty much what I said they would do."
Should do.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a different connotation for sure.
I mean, I don't know if it's part of some grand plan, because I know the reports are that they gave Bellinger an offer and he's sitting on it. Because I would assume after what he did last year, and because he's going to be less than Tucker, and because there's a little more versatility, even though he's older, I know Tucker looks more attractive to that. But I think that they have always viewed Bellinger as the one to get this offseason.
I think they really want Bellinger. They really want Bellinger. But no, again, I'm not going to sit here and say it's lack of anything.
Yeah.
Like no, who have the Dodgers went out there and got? Or the Red Sox? Like, where are the big moves being made?
I mean, the Red Sox made a couple of trades. Let's be fair with that. Like, they've made some moves where the Yankees have signed Ryan Yarbrough, Ahmed Rosario. They gave Grisham the qualifying offer. They signed the Mexican League MVP. And I know it's early, but they're Yankee fans. They're just worried. Like they always are.
I think we're all panicking a little too soon. That's the point that I want to make. I think we're all getting a little ahead of ourselves.
If it's a month from now, if it's February 2nd, and we're still talking about the previous moves that I just mentioned without there being a new move, then you can panic because you're only 2 weeks out from spring training at that point.
Let's just let's give if other teams start making crazy moves and the Yankees stay pat, then I'll start to panic. But right now, I'm not going to hit the panic button yet.
Right, because they weren't in on Pete Alonso, they weren't in on Kyle Schwarber. Like that wasn't going to happen. The teams that made the move, the Phillies bring Schwarber back. That makes sense. The Orioles wanted Schwarber and then got Alonso, so that made sense for them. I know I
don't think they were very interested in Amai. Like I think they wanted Amai at their price, and if he was going to go to the Astros for $21 million, they were like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they've lost out on anyone yet. Now, again, if Bellinger tomorrow signs with Toronto, then it's panic. I agree, but that hasn't happened yet. So let's all give it time. Let's not panic too much yet.
Don't panic yet. I want to thank you guys for being in the chat because it's Friday night. It's just after 8 Eastern. We appreciate you guys hanging out in here with us for Fan Mail Friday, and Project Chaos says that I love taking the trains. Yeah, New York City trains are people overblow the train thing. If you're in Manhattan, you're fine. If you're going to a place where there are a lot of people on the train, you're perfectly fine.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah. It's well, look at this. Eddie, 1969, Jesse's Girls, my favorite song. Nice.
Ever?
Nice.
Ever?
Nice. I have that album.
Song.
I have that album on vinyl, Working Class Dog. And because of my undiagnosed ADHD when I was a kid that I didn't know I had, I would listen to songs repeatedly. And my favorite song on Working Class Dog was Love Is All Right Tonight, song 1, side 1. And I would literally put the needle on the record, sit down on the couch, lay down on the couch, sing along to the song, get up, pick up the needle, put it back to the beginning of that's how I would listen to things over and over again. Because, nowadays you just press the button. Back then you literally physically had to get up, walk over to your stereo, lift the needle up. Thankfully for me, most of the songs that I listened to on repeat were song 1, side 1, or song 1, side 2. So it was easy for me to get to the beginning of the song without messing up the vinyl.
I do have sympathy for you guys in that era.
Yeah. And then it got even worse when we stopped getting so much vinyl and started getting things on cassette, because then you'd have to rewind the cassette and try and figure out where the start of the song was. I mean, yeah, it's amazing how much technology I've lived through, honestly, and all the changes, because the first half of my life, I didn't have a cell phone.
Yeah.
I barely had internet.
I don't know how you guys did anything. Honestly.
I actually don't either. And I was around then, but it's funny to think about people acting like, oh, I need to know where my kids are at all points. And my mom's like, I just said, get back before dark.
And it worked. You're
We
still
were riding
here.
bikes into the next town. Our parents couldn't care less.
You're still kicking.
Yeah, I'm still here. So anyway, thank you guys for joining us. And thank you for tuning in to today's Locked On Yankees. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow Locked On Yankees so you get all of the latest updates. You can also follow us on Instagram. I've seen you guys following us, so thank you for that. We will get better at posting things when things happen, because things aren't happening. But Locked On Yankees, all one word on Instagram, LockedOn_Yankees on TikTok. And one more time, if you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Yankees ad-free, plus the members-only Discord access. You can trash talk, but nicely. You can do that by heading to lockedonyankees.supercast.com to join the Everydayers Club. For those of you on video, we send you to the first ever 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you listen to Sully for your second listen on Locked On MLB. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you guys next week.